Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing well. You know, Nancy and Chris and I really miss all of you. I'm sorry you can't be up here today, but we're going to stay in touch every week with you. We're going to, during these times of social distancing, you've heard those words right now, and when church is closed, we'll have Sunday school each week via video. We're going to do songs, we're going to do stories, we're going to do art, and next week we'll start doing quizzes again. Today we're going to talk about Jesus and his 12 friends, also known as the disciples. But first I want you to sing that New Testament rhyme that we've been doing, and I think you know it, so I want you to sing along at home. Here we go.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, Acts, and next is Romans. 1st and 2nd Corinthians, Galatians, and Ephesians. Philippians, Colossians, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, 1st and 2nd Timothy, Titus, and Philemon. Hebrews, James, 1st and 2nd Peter, 1st and 2nd, 3rd John, Jude, and Revelation.
So I thought it'd be good to say, what is a disciple? A disciple in Christianity refers to a dedicated follower of Jesus. This term is found in the New Testament only in the books of Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and Acts. Our church is called First Christian Church, Disciples of Christ. We too are followers of Jesus and all the good lessons and wisdom that he left for us. So I want to show you the names of the disciples. There was Simon Peter, later became known as Peter after Jesus died. Andrew, James, who is the brother of John, Philip, Bartholomew, Matthew, who was associated with tax collectors, and they didn't know if they wanted to have him, but Jesus said, yeah, we have to have him aboard. Thomas, Simon, the other Simon, Thaddeus, another James, and Judas. I'm reading from the Bible for Children, and today's story is 12 Special Friends. Now, as I read this, you're going to see some images like we've done in the past of different people like Moses. I have 10 images of Jesus and his disciples. You're going to vote on one of these. They're all numbered. So think of the ones, and you'll see them several times. Think of the one that you want to vote on, and then the winner will be put into our New Testament Hall of Fame. One evening, Jesus went off alone to pray. He climbed a mountain overlooking Lake Galilee and stayed there all night beneath the stars. When he came down in the early morning, he saw many of his friends gathered by the shore. There were fishermen and farmers, builders, carpenters, merchants, and teachers. So many different faces looking at him, all of all ages and types. They welcomed him, and he sat down among them beside the clear waters of Lake Galilee. Jesus had many friends and followers, but now he needed to choose those who would leave their homes and travel with him everywhere. They would become his closest friends, telling the world about God's kingdom. Jesus was silent, and the men all around him respected his silence. They knew that he was about to say something important. 12 of you will follow me wherever I go, he said. You will be my special disciples. Simon, he said, slapping his hand on the rough fisherman's shoulder, you first. And Andrew, James, and John. Slowly, Jesus went around the throng of people, picking up his disciples. Philip, Bartholomew, Thomas, Thaddeus, Simon from Cana, James, son of Alphaeus. He chose Judas Iscariot too, who would later betray him. The man everyone was amazed to see chosen was Matthew. Matthew, Simon and Andrew muttered under their breath. Jesus can't be choosing Matthew to be one of us, a special friend. Matthew worked with the tax collectors who were always cheating people, and no one trusted him except Jesus. He knew that Matthew's heart had changed. Now I have 10 images of Mary Magdalene. We talked about her a long time ago. She was a follower of Jesus too. And I want you to hear a little bit about her and look at these 10 images. You vote on one of these too. One of your favorite images of Mary Magdalene, and she'll go into our New Testament Hall of Fame. Mary Magdalene is a woman in all 4 Gospels of the New Testament. She became a faithful follower of Jesus after he delivered her from 7 demons, or as we'd say today, some mental health issues. She witnessed the crucifixion and burial of Jesus and was the first person to see and talk with him after he arose from the dead, according to our gospel readings. He told the disciples that she had seen him alive. Mary is a saint today, recognized as a saint in the Catholic Church. She is remembered on July 22nd. She is mentioned by name 12 times in the books of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, more than most of the disciples and more than any other non-family woman in the gospel stories. According to many scholars, Mary's last name, Magdalene, may mean that she came from the town of Magdala, a fishing village on the western shore of the Sea of Galilee. Now here's the question of the week for all of you, and only kids 10 and under can answer this. Since Mary Magdalene followed Jesus so much and was mentioned so much, answer this question. Should Mary Magdalene be listed as the 13th disciple? Yes or no? Okay, remember that. And when you turn into some stuff to us this week and you send us an email, yes or no to the question of the week. Should Mary Magdalene be listed as the 13th disciple? Okay, now we're going to do an art project that you can do at home, and Nancy's going to tell you all about it. It's paper doll chains, and it has to do with the disciples.
Hello, my artist friends. So the first thing to do at your home is gather your art materials. Hopefully you have some crayons, you have some colored pencils, you have some markers, you have some scissors, and some tape. So what we're making today is a paper doll chain of the 12 disciples. So you're going to get a piece that looks like this. I've already been cutting on this, so that's why it's falling apart. But the first thing you're going to do is cut around the outside edge. And when you get here, cut along this line so that you don't cut into it, because that's how we're going to attach them to each other. So I'm going to just finish cutting the little bit that I have left to cut on these. Just get around here. Okay. And I got one little bit left to cut here. Okay, so now we've got it cut out. This is what you're going to get, and you can see how the ends look. You don't want to cut in there. And then there's a very faint line on here, and that's going to be your folding line. So you can fold it like this, just along the center of the person, and then along the center of this heart. Okay? And you'll see the lines when you get your paper. It's probably hard to see them in this video, but there's lines all along there. So you'll fold along there, okay? Now, you get to be really creative and use anything you have at your house in the way of crayons, markers, and colored pencils to color them however you want. So that's where you can just cut loose and be creative. And then in the hearts that are created, you can write the names of the disciples. And I have them on the board over here, so you can put those names in the hearts. And then to get 12 of them, because each piece only has 4 on there, you're going to take them and put them together like this, and put a little piece of tape on the back side, okay? So put them together. And then if you have one more, then you're going to have all 12 of them. And then you can fold them again, and it should stand up. So there's your activity for this week, my artist friends. Have a good week. Bye-bye.
Okay, so we're at communion, and I just want to remind you, you can do this at home. And if you don't have juice, you can use water, milk, whatever you have. But remember to wash your hands. We're washing our hands a lot, and I wash my hands, and I'm going to use a little Purell. And then we'll start with our communion. As Jesus gathered with his disciples, he took the bread and broke it and blessed it and said, "Take, eat. This is my body, broken for you." And he took the cup and poured the juice and said, "This is my blood poured out for many. Do this in remembrance of me." Okay, have a great week. Be safe and do unto others all week. And let's go out with the Lord's Prayer song, and you know when to jump, because I will. All right? Here we go. Our Creator who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. God, hear our prayer. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from all that is evil. Hear our prayer. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. God Almighty, hear our prayer. Now I'm going to go off. It's the first weekend of spring, and I think I'm going to go put my knapsack on my back. Oh, wait a minute. We got a snack in here. We got to have a little